Therapy day. I guess I could just make him one character, but let's do. See how that shows up. Fuck it, we'll throw this guy in too. Fuck it, we ball. That's so good. People, bear with me for a second. Okay, there we go. I think that should be. This doesn't include arcane characters, but I think I did arcane separately, so we'll just rank these for now. Let's just get. Oh, shit. Wrong button. Shit. Alright, let's get ranking on these. A tier. Um, should actually update those the new pictures I made of them. F tier. Mind Warp is such a nothing character. I don't even know what this guy's fucking. I don't know what I was doing with him. He's just a little. He's just a little minion, a little grunt guy. He's not really meant to do much. Uh, shit. There we go. Is that better? Yeah, it's better. What the fuck is? Oh, I see. Okay. Hold on, people. Hold on. Average Bjorn stream moment. Holy shit. Try not to fuck up the stream. All right, let's just keep going. I'm trying to get it so I can look at chat, but maybe I'll pull it up on my phone so I can look at it separately there. That way I can look at chat. There we go. Okay. All right, so Mind Warp, he sucks. Shade. Kind of torn between A and S tier here on this updated tier list before we start writing. And if anyone joins me, we're just doing this to kill time till people show up. So as soon as a couple people show up, or even just like one or two people, we'll start. Oh, throw him in S tier. Fuck it. D tier for betrayal woman. All she does is betray people, and you know what? That's fine. That's what she does. Mist is my favorite. Really gotta think about that. Maybe my favorite member of Justice League Dark. I really like Dr. Mist. I like his whole thing. I like everything he's got going on. Nick Necro, solid villain, B tier. He's just a big asshole. And we here at Bjorn Does Movies like massive assholes. My favorite kind of villain. Again, he's going into B for massive asshole. Uh, Elijah Grimm. Yeah? Yeah, okay. Shit. Nightmare Nurse, C tier. She doesn't really do much. I love Nightmare Nurse in the comics. I like her gimmick in the script I had her in. I really wish I could fit her into the new one. I couldn't do it. I tried really hard. I think it's Nightshade. A tier. I think she's a very effective villain. I think she's very good. I think her motivations make sense. So yeah, A tier. Now this character came back up recently. B tier. I'm gonna put a pin in her. We're using her. Zatanna, not my character, so I won't put her in S tier, but I think she is an S tier character in general. My version, solid A tier. I don't think I'd write her as well as some people do. B tier for the hat. Yeah. John Weber, A tier. Good character. Sentry, S tier. I actually will be curious to go back and compare this to my previous time I did this. I don't remember what I put things in. He's my favorite villain I think I've ever written. I really like him. Until maybe this Arcane script. I might have a villain I like more in that one. Calculator, D tier. Gentleman Goes F tier. Flatline S tier. Chemo S tier. Queen, A tier. Really like that character. I like she's very specific to that second Thunderbolts movie in her arc. But I think she works well. Zemo, barely my character. I'll give him B tier for my rendition of him. Blockbuster, C tier. He just says his name. Bullseye. A lot of people say they like my version of Bullseye. I personally am of the opinion I did not write Bullseye as well as the Daredevil TV show. C tier. I don't think I did him as well as I could have. Boomerang. B for Boomerang. Fuck it. Candlemaker. Not really a character unless this is supposed to be Dorothy Spinner. No, Dorothy Spinner's over there. I mean, he's a C tier character. He's cool. He's scary. He's not really a character though. Can't believe he even made it in here. Ghost. I actually like what I was doing with my version of Ghost, although some of what I was doing with her has kind of been made null and void because I'm not doing that Avengers movie anymore. So we'll put her in the B tier. Condiment King, A tier. He's pretty good. John Constantine, S tier. I think I nailed John Constantine and like his mannerisms and the way he behaves. I think he's such a fun character because there's this like kind of chaotic slant to him. You can never peg exactly whose side he's really on. I think he's so fun. I really like him. Crossfire, D tier. Hitoshi, B tier for his appearances so far. I might change when I write some of the stuff in Deadlands Season 2. What is this fucking character's name? Jesus Christ. The Thunderbolts, the redhead lady who, she becomes a superhero. Oh my god. Dude. What is her fucking name? B tier for, can't remember her name. I should put her in C tier for can't remember her name. Yeah, she's good. She's actually important too. I'm blanking on her name. Oh well. I really like Dorothy Spinner. I think she's an underutilized character in DC Comics. I think she has the potential to be super cool, and I think she should be used in more stories than she currently is. I actually don't like her as much when she's connected to the Doom Patrol, because I feel like she is rife for a very serious story, and the Doom Patrol is rife for not having a serious story. So I kind of hope one day that they do something with her. Zebra Man, people are gonna fucking kill me. D tier, he just sucks. I mean, I don't do anything with him. U.S. Agents, my favorite MCU character, and you know, I really like Thunderbolts. I really like Thunderbolts. I like what they did with him a lot. I'm very content with it. He's a little more of an asshole in that than I think he really should be, but he's funny. So Morrow, C tier for C tier villain. Is this Harley Quinn? I think that's Harley Quinn. Not Harley Quinn, but Harley Quinn. C tier. Beard Hunter. B tier. Doesn't really do much. But he's super funny in his limited screen time, and I really like him. So he's B for Beard Hunter. Oh, Ghost Eye Morrison. Uh, A tier. I think this is a good character. I think he gets better, especially with the short. I think I had him in B tier before. I think he's A tier now. I really like him. Electrocutioner is a C tier. Mineral Woman. B tier. She's fine. Battering Ram. F tier. Fuck that character. Um, not my finest work. Jog. See, I think Jog is a C tier, but a lot of people tell me they really like Jog and like my version of Jog. I know I'll probably get some shit for that. I don't care. He's fucking C tier. I don't care what any of you guys say. That's John Constantine again. So gonna leave him down here. Xanadu. Morally gray character. Bounces between villain and hero. A tier. Mano. B tier for has nothing fucking going on. Alright. Is this? Yes, I think this is. This is the Power Broker. S tier. Rainbow Raider. D tier. Um, Reaper? C tier. He didn't do anything in my script. He's just kind of a cameo. Uh, Ten-Eyed Man, B tier. We'll put him in B tier. He's fun. Clock King, I think an easy S tier. I don't think anyone would argue with that. I think probably one of, if not my best characters. He's in the flatlining chemo tier of characters I completely changed, I think, for the better. I think he's a very cool character. He didn't actually need too much modification. And joining him, I'm going to say Sportsmaster joins him, in my opinion. It's one of my S tier characters. He's very good. And also, dude, we got 3 back to back. Because we've got Speed Demon, another character I think I improved upon. He's one of the few characters I think I made better than the comic book version. I think often I don't write better than them, but that's one. Mockingbird. Not Mockingbird. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Mockingbird's a different superhero. Songbird, thank you. Fuck. Some kind of bird. Yeah, A tier. I like her. Harley Quinn, not my character. I think I wrote her fine. C tier. Idris Elba, Bloodsport, same thing. Not my character. I think I wrote him fine. Yeah. That's where I'm putting these guys I didn't write. Like, they're not my characters, and I just kind of did an okay version of them. Let's go right in the C tier. Katana, C tier. This is Katana. I'd advise not getting killed by her. Her sword traps the souls of its victims. Yeah. The eel, C tier. I just think he's funny. I don't know. He makes me laugh, and whenever I write a character that makes me laugh, I know it's pretty funny. I like the eel. I like what he's got going on. I think that's Clue Master, C tier. Red Rocket, A tier. One of my better villains, in my opinion. I think he's pretty good, if you even call him a villain. And I feel pretty bad for him. Evil Flash is C tier. I don't know why I put him on here. Not too much. We're just doing a little warm up before we get started on writing the script. Just updating my tier list. Feel free to yell at me for my opinions. Yeah, I think that's Firefly. My version of Firefly is a C tier. He's just a nothing character. He has some funny lines and he's pretty good. Same with actually I will give Black Canary because I include Black Canary in my Justice League script. I almost forgot about that. Update on that soon, by the way, very soon. Black Canary, I like the evil version of her. I like her screen time in that is limited, but Gentleman Ghost was the fuck up. Yeah, I'm well aware. I literally laughed when I saw him pop up, and I put him there immediately. This is a second Clue Master. Unless is that... Oh, no, that's Mirror Master. Oh, A tier. Although apparently he's the fan favorite, or one of the fan favorites. Clue Master, C tier. Is that Mala in the Brain? C tier, I guess. I do nothing in my script. Detonator. Oh, man. You know. Famously, my Muggler's best friend. B tier for Bomb. The Eraser. Ooh, S tier or A tier? God, it's so tempting because I know what I'm based on where he is now. A tier. I think in a movie or two he might be S tier. Mindboggler, I'm gonna throw in the S tier. I think my version of Mindboggler is a significant improvement on the comic version. And unlike with some of these characters like Clock King or Speed Demon, who aren't terrible in the comics, I think Mindboggler is pretty outright bad in the comics, so it wasn't hard for me to write a better version of her. Element Woman again. We already put Element Woman in B tier. Upside Down Man. S tier. I think Upside Down Man is one of my better characters, especially in his later inclusions. Now, Kaladin is not my character. Kaladin belongs to Brandon Sanderson, and my adaptation of Kaladin is exactly how he is on the page. I don't really change anything with Kaladin's Stormblessed. Kaladin is an S tier character. He's a fucking awesome character. He's so dark, so interesting. He's really great. He's not my character, though. Rainbow Man, A tier. I think of the multiple rainbow-themed villains on this tier list, I think he's the best. He's a twat, but he's very funny. I really like him. Okay. Detective Chimp, A tier. Zeth Sunsun Navano, Truthless of Shinovar. S tier as well. Also not my character. Just someone I write exactly as they appear on page. Super interesting. His motive, his what he is as a villain. Yeah, no kidding, man. I don't know where I came up with the idea for what I did with Mind Boggler. I was just like, it was for that other YouTube script that never got released, and I was working on it, and I was like, okay, what do I do with Mind Boggler? She controls people's minds, and I was just like, I just started writing her exactly the way she's written in the Get Out guys, like almost immediately. It just made sense. This guy's on here twice for some reason. Nightshade is on here twice. I think I already put her in A tier. Evil Supergirl. C tier. Evil Superman. I'll put him in C tier because these two both make pretty good little. They're not in the scripts for very long, but they both make really good impacts in their respective movies. I just don't like the evil versions of these characters. I don't like evil Superman cliche. I do it, but I usually do it in service of a larger plot. Um, No, Superman is a nothing character. He's exactly where he needs to be. He's right in the D tier with Mono and fucking Rainbow Raider and Crossfire, Calculator. These are all D tier characters. Dorothy Spinner. I thought I already put Dorothy Spinner on here. I think she's A tier, right? Yeah, A tier. Okay. New characters. Terraman. I don't know what the consensus is on Terraman yet. My version of him. I think he's S tier. I really, really like Terraman. I think he's kind of delightful. I don't know how else to describe him. I think he's unbelievably naive and very likable. I think he's kind-hearted and also kind of a bad guy in a fun way. He's funny but also very likable. I don't know. I feel like it was interesting. I was looking at the poll I did for the Get Out guys, and it was like 22%, 22%, 32%, 22%. Basically, it was even. Like everyone had favorites, which means I probably did a good job of balancing the characters. Is what that indicated to me. I think I might have killed that because I think Terraman, especially in 2, is going to be the show stealer. If it isn't Reach, Reach is really cool. I don't think people have gotten. She doesn't get as much screen time. I'll be honest. The Terraman and Reach short started as just a Terraman story. And I came up with the idea of giving him a partner in Reach, and I sort of worked her into the story, which is weird because there was a version of that story without her in it, and it makes no sense to me. Like, I don't think it would have worked. I don't know what I was going to do with that, but I think she's also S tier. I think as a duo, they're S tier. They have really good chemistry with each other, especially in 2. Their powers are unique, and they work well together. Reach is very different. Like, a lot of times you see couples, and they're like the same person. Especially as superhero couples. Like, I'll be honest, I really like them, but like Green Arrow and Black Canary are the same person. They're very similar to one another, and I don't find that to be particularly interesting as far as their dynamics. And I think Terraman and Reach are extremely different from one another. They're both very different people. They have very different kinds of powers. They literally have different backgrounds. And yeah, I think they work really well together. I think it makes complete sense why they would be together. And of course, the absolute show stealer, we got the human slime. The human slime is probably the most powerful character in the DC universe. Ever since the human slime was introduced, the hierarchy has never been the same. The hierarchy of the Bjorn BDCU will never be the same. He's going into S tier for slime. I don't think anyone will disagree with that. With that ranking. Oh, hello, Asher. Just gonna kick my door open and leave. Okay. What are you doing, bud? Are you gonna be in or out? Make a decision. In or out, buddy? What do you want? I'll kick this door open though. As soon as I shut it, you better not immediately kick it open to follow me in here. Let's see. Oh! Who could have guessed? He immediately kicked the door open to follow me in here. Stay. Stay. Oh boy. Wet. Thought you went and swam. Okay. All right. I think that's everyone. Yeah. Okay. There we go. We'll download that real fast. Yeah, I think that's pretty much. It doesn't include a lot of the arcane characters who we're writing today. I would say a lot of them are actually S tier, but they're also not my characters. So last tier list we're doing. This one will be really fast. Is this up to date? Jailbreak for hire. I gotta add a few more on here. That. We'll use that for Justice League Dark 3. God, my temptation to use that is so high. My temptation to add the human slime to this is like extremely high. There we go. All right. Harry Potter. I have not finished this yet. B tier. It's okay. Not my best work. I still want to finish that. I intend to go back and finish that. 4? You know, the more I've reread these, I think 4 has become my favorite. I think of the Suicide Squad, 4 is the best. So I will put 3, and then 5. I'll put it in A tier, I guess. 5 has some incredible moments. It's got some really cool moments, but it doesn't hit the consistency I try to keep with my scripts. It's a little all over the place. The script I will do the most work on when I do the remakes, which I finished writing the script for remake 3. I didn't actually change too much. I think most of it's pretty okay. It's good for what it is, but it isn't the best script I've written. 5 has a lot of problems I can easily point to. So does 4, and I intend to fix both of them. Fixing Thor: Love and Thunder. This is like a goofy little video. I just kind of spatball that. I don't even know why I was on this tier list. Thunderbolts 1. Yeah, I'll give it A tier. I don't think it's the best thing I've ever written, but I think it's good. It's okay. Uh, Deadlands season 1, good, really good. Fallout not canceled. I didn't do it. Justice League Dark 1 is maybe my best script. I think it's my most consistent. It's got the most thought out themes. I think it's really good. Thunderbolts 2, though, is a close second. Both of these movies to me are basically on par with one another in their quality. Justice League Dark 2 is an A tier. It's got some really fun moments. I think like the Shade musical, the parts of it, but it's kind of a mess. It's kind of all over the place by its nature. It goes really all over the place. Indiana Jones and the Sword of the Sun. We'll put that in A tier. Bottom A tier. The Get Out guys. The first one. S tier. I fucking love the Get Out guys. I think that script, it was wholly mine in a way. Like a lot of these things, I'm pulling ideas from other sources, with maybe the exceptions of Thunderbolts 2. But I was pulling a lot of the characters and their arcs from other stuff. Justice League Dark 1 was kind of a hodgepodge of a couple different stories with a MacGuffin I invented myself. This is good too, but this isn't really mine, and I haven't really written enough of it to know where it's going to pan out. So I'll put it there. But the Get Out Guys is my first script that's like wholly my invention, basically. The characters, except for Mirror Master, none of them are even close to their comic versions. They're basically original characters, all of them. And the premise is fun. The villain is interesting. He's a very different version of a villain. He's actually arguably like a hero. What are you doing? You want out now. You've come in here and you want out now. Come on. On the bed. Ash, come take a nap. Come on. Go on. Come on. Get up there. Hey, come on. Take a nap for a little bit and I'll let you out. You just can't be opening my door. There we go. Sorry, dog. Yeah, I think it is one of my better scripts. I'll put it... I don't think it has quite the emotional highs of Justice League Dark 1. I think it doesn't have the payoff in the arc. Same with actually Thunderbolts 2. Thunderbolts 2 is a very emotional finale. The finale of this movie is phenomenal in my opinion. I think it's the best part of it. I think up until the ending, when you realize what I've been doing the whole time, it's actually really good. I think Sentry is one of my better villains. But Justice League Dark 1, I think the way the arc and the themes tie together and the way the twist is it's ending, it's all very good. Arcane, I think this is an S tier as well. It's very different. It's the closest in quality and tone and like vibe to Deadlands, for sure, compared to my other stuff. Get Out Guys 2, Out of Time. It's not out yet. I've written a lot of this and mentally written the entire thing. I know exactly how it goes, as obviously shown by me making music for it. This has the potential to be my best script. I do not know until I write it down, but in a similar way to this one, the first Justice League Dark movie, it has a very consistent theme and it has a through line, and it goes in a very unexpected direction, much like Thunderbolts 2. It's got the kind of craziness of Justice League Dark 2, like the sort of wackiness of it. But I don't think anyone is fully going to expect what that story is actually about. I think besides the obvious, no one will really peg where it's going or what its characters are like. It's got a great villain, whose name I can't say on YouTube, so it's going to be a really funny script. But he's actually kind of compelling, and I actually kind of find him sympathetic, which is weird that I actually wound up making the character with that name, y'all know who I'm talking about, sympathetic, and he kind of is. So that's interesting. Justice League Dark 3, also pretty good. I don't know. This one I have to write more of to really peg where it's going. The Terrorman and Reach short, I think I'll put that... I'll let chat decide on this one. A tier or S tier? I'm kind of torn. It's very low stakes and down to the ground. It's very much a character building short. It doesn't have a lot of action. It's mostly just talking, God forbid. But I really like the characters in it. He is actually one of my better villains, and I think he's actually going to surprise people. The opening scene, which there should be a State of Bjorn soon that will feature the opening scene with him. It's his origin. I think you're going to watch it and immediately hit, okay, I'm saying S, I'll put that in S. All right, we'll download that. I think a lot of people are going to see that and then be like, oh, holy shit, I see what you mean by this villain is very dark. For sure. All right, I think we got like 4 or 5 people in here. Let's start. We're going to rewatch the first episode, and this is for my sanity, so I can write the second one easier.
Oh my god, hello, it's me, Bjorn, coming at you from under the water. I am 20,000
I am so out of gimmicks. It's tragic.
leagues under the ocean. I actually cannot breathe right now. This is actually a real problem. So I'm going to speed through this intro because this gimmick is stupid. This is a stupid gimmick. I'm stuck under the water. Please send help. I'm under the water. I cannot breathe.
I remember what I was going to do. I have to come when I finish the second one and make the video. I was going to put the Titan submarine in the background because when I made this, that was a relevant meme. I'm still going to do it though.
I literally can't breathe. I'm actually coughing. I'm sick. It's going to affect my voice.
I just need to keep this going for like another 10 minutes.
They're going to be terrible in this one. All right. Yeah, this is the first episode, first act of Arcane. If you're curious about what characters and where I'm setting this, it should be obvious. I'm under the water. Obviously, it's bilge water. But if you're curious and you want to see that, you can go back and watch that other video. Otherwise, you can just jump right in. This is the first episode of the series. I've written the whole script. I'm going to read it in terrible accents, as I mentioned. And you guys can, jump in and watch this. If you're new to the channel, I write the entire script. I read all the dialogue. I do it differently than a lot of other people do, like writing stuff. So if that sounds cool to you, you can go ahead and join us in this episode.
Here's the thing, though. Oh, I didn't want to do that. There we go. I have to write. There's 9 total episodes of Arcane. I'm gonna have to stretch this gimmick for 9 episodes. It's not gonna be a dumb
first episode
gimmick
is
by
called
then.
The Path. It's going to sort of be a little slower than some of the other ones. It's serving as an introduction to the world and area. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. It actually helps a ton. Leave a comment. Tell me what I can improve. Tell me what you like about the script, what you don't like. If I made some glaring lore mistakes. I made a couple on purpose, but if I made a couple of horrible, glaring lore mistakes, let me know.
I already caught
please
one.
Mock me relentlessly for getting the League of Legends.
I wasn't mocked, luckily.
Anyway,
No one else noticed it.
I'm gonna swim back to the surface or some dumb shit.
We open on a shot of a small oceanside village. In the sea beyond, we can see a large ship sinking beneath the waves as fire engulfs its upper decks. Another larger ship has set anchor near the shore. Rowboats bring men to the shore. They begin to storm the town. The camera lingers on a taller pirate wearing an ornate outfit and what appears to be like, I guess what you call a captain's outfit. Very distinctive, like a feather coming out of his hat, standard pirate shit. He wears a necklace of shark teeth and has shark teeth worked into the knuckles of the gloves, facing out like sharp, spiked knuckles. He has scars running up his arms that we can see. He smiles, and his teeth are sharpened to points. We can see villagers fleeing and hiding before him. But he seems unconcerned with them. He and 3 of his men move forward.
Oh, really? See, it's
until
funny because I'm pretty sure you really like Deadlands. This is the closest thing to Deadlands I've ever done. It's very much the same.
they reach a certain house. He kicks the door down, so it opens up wide and enters. Inside, we see a young woman holding a pan. When she sees the man, who's Artel the Shark, by the way, he's an original character not featured in the League of Legends lore. The woman lowers the pan in fear and then drops it to the floor. Artel smiles, showing his sharp teeth again, and he and his 3 men enter the room as the woman backs up. Artel says, "I saw you when I last came to this village. So beautiful. It seems such a shame for a beauty like you to be trapped in a place like this." The woman says, I like this town fine enough. Good people here. Don't need men like you around." Artel laughs. It's deep, but also sinister. But there also seems to be a tinge of genuine joy to the laughter. He gestures to the man standing at the door. His man steps outside and shuts the door behind him, leaving Artel with only 2 men and the woman. Artel says, "There are no men like me. Say, didn't you have a little one? Where's your son?" The woman goes pale and looks nervously at Artel. "He's been sent away to train as a blacksmith in Bilgewater." The camera slowly moves down beneath the floorboards. We see light shining through cracks, and in that light we can see a boy, maybe 9 years old, trembling down there, holding a hand to his mouth to keep from screaming, to keep from making sound. Artel says, "I've always thought you were beautiful. I've been waiting for an opportunity like this." The woman says, "I can't. I have a husband. I'm faithful." Artel laughs again. He turns to look at his men. "You hear that, lads? She's got a husband." His 2 men begin to laugh too, chuckling. Artel begins to approach the woman, and she slowly backs up until she bumps onto a counter. Artel gets up in her face. "I don't think you understand the situation. I am Artel the Shark, and the shark takes what it pleases." We see her hand slowly reach for a knife on the counter. Artel says, "And what I want is to take you right here." The woman slashes at him with a knife, cutting him across the eye. Artel screams, then bats the knife away. We can see blood running down his face. Artel snarls, "You whore! You like to play with knives? I can play too. Hold her down." The 2 goons hold her down, and Artel picks the knife up off the floor. We can see it still dripping from where she scratched him, his blood reaching the floor. We hear her scream as the camera moves down to the trembling boy beneath the floorboards. We can see blood begin to drip through the cracks and flow down over his hands, coating them red. His eyes grow wide, and tears begin to fall. He continues to hold the hand over his mouth to keep from screaming, blood now coating his body. In those eyes, we see fury, hatred, vengeance, and
A goon is like a minion. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, it's a minion, like an evil minion. I don't know. You've never heard the word goon? Are you making a goon joke? We don't do those here.
fear.
This is a PG-13
We're gonna cut to the
channel.
intro. Which I'd imagine we'd still use the one from Arcane, Enemy. I think it works pretty well for this series. We're gonna cut to a teenage boy laying flat on his stomach. His fingers trail in the water. We can see colorful tints and streamers reflected in the water behind him. Small minnow-like fish swirl around his fingers, investigating the boy. The boy sighs. We see a brief wide shot and realize that this is one giant barge flowing down a river, covered in colorful tints and sails, made with colorful fabric. A kid calls out, "Tobias, it's your turn."
Just realized something. If I had a nickel for every time I had a Tobias who's trying to earn money to save his people, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
The boy, staring at the water, looks up, then sits up from the water. Two other boys and a girl sit in a circle across from him. We can see several played hands of cards in the middle. Tobias grabs 5 of his face.
Also, if I had a nickel for every time I had a guy who played with magic cards, I would win another nickel. Which is weird that there's also 4 nickels now, which can be compared to this character, even though I didn't invent him.
Down cards and tosses them face up in the center. We can see 4 strange cards depicting a skull and another depicting a rusty sword. Tobias says, "Dead man's hand. 4 skulls and a sword. I win." The other kids all groan. One of them says, "I swear you aren't human. You win every time." Tobias says, "You guys are just easy to predict. You all have too much of a tell. Makes it too easy to beat you." He takes a couple of trinkets from the center pile, his prize. We see some small toys and maybe a little piece of jewelry. Another kid says, "I still think it's cheating. I'm gonna get you next time for sure. And when I catch you, you're gonna have to do the dishes for a month." Tobias just shrugs. "If anything, it's just my dad's lucky hat." He gestures to a hat in his head. It's folded leather hat, pretty standard stuff. It's got a card stuck into one of the lining around the top of the hat.
And
One of the other kids says, "Then let me wear it for a hand so I can win for once." Tobias laughs. "Not a chance." He pulls out a cracked pocket watch and checks it, then lets out a little yelp. He jumps up. The girl says, "Tobias, what is it?" He says, "I'm late. I have a meeting with the arcane mother." We see him run down the interconnected barges flowing down the river. Colorful streamers and cloth are everywhere, giving bright, vibrant imagery to the scene. He reaches a large tent near the back of the barges and runs inside. We see an old woman with glassy white eyes sitting at a table. She looks like what you would imagine a sort of stereotypical soothsayer to look like. A magic purveyor, if you will. The arcane mother says, "You are late, Tobias. Again." Tobias says, "I'm sorry, arcane mother. I lost track of time." The mother clicks her tongue. "I knew you would be. I don't need my abilities in the arcane to read you, Tobias. Always distracted, but never by what is important." Tobias bows his head. "It matters not now. I do not choose the pupils the path sends to me, only how I forge them. So have you managed it yet?" Tobias shakes his head. "I know you say I'm gifted, but I don't see it. I think you could be mistaken. Perhaps one of the other children, but not me." The arcane mother laughs. It slowly turns into coughs. "Boy, when I look upon you, the arcane sings to me. It courses through you like it never did through me. You simply radiate with it. Your fate is twisted by the arcane as sure as the river guides our path. You merely need..."
I think it was 300 subs I would put out the next Garage Ninja part if I can get the other 2 guys to record it. They're all so busy now, I don't know if I can do that. Specifically Don, man, that guy works non-stop. That's why we haven't had a Mastercast in so long. Yeah, I can probably, I'll probably do something. Well, I'll do something. I know at 500 I said I'd launch Get Out Guys merch, and I will do that at 500. But I don't know if we're ever going to hit 300. It's hard.
To learn how to unleash.
Especially, I haven't actually talked about this, the rise of AI content has killed a lot of channels I know, people who I know who do YouTube. And I think it's hurting my numbers too. I've been ever since the invention of AI, I've been slowly losing viewership. Because basically what's happened is, there's a lot of, the way the YouTube algorithm works is it heavily rewards consistent, everyday content. And lots of content, even if it's just okay views, lots of content will make you go up. What I do is I spend a long time making one really good video, or what I would like to think is a really good video. And the algorithm doesn't really reward that kind of shit, like, at all, because they want something that's going to be constantly having ads in front of it, like, daily slop, basically. And AI is really good at making that. So we've had a rush of AI videos, and they're terrible. They're unwatchable. I don't know who's watching them. I guess children. Are like AI writing tips videos and stuff like that. And the advice they give is all garbage, but because I've watched them. I mean, I'm know your enemy or whatever. I don't hate AI. I like using AI for art. I can't afford to hire artists. So I definitely use it, and I see its purpose. But I think YouTube needs to be better about fixing their algorithm, because I don't think people actually like watching AI content. I don't think. But anyway, yeah. So I think it's hurt the channels. I know it's hurt a lot of other people's channels. Specifically, I feel really bad for educational channels. And I'm about to launch Bjorn Does History. I've been working on getting a back catalog of videos for that. And I'm watching because right now, apparently, history videos are getting just overrun by AI slop, specifically. So,
Power you have
oh well.
to
It is
harness
what it
it
is.
for the good of the river. Tobias says, I can't. I've tried day and night. It just doesn't work. I focus on the rings, as you say, but nothing. The arcane mother puts a finger to her chin in contemplation and taps it a few times. Perhaps it is my guidance at fault. Tobias shakes his head. No, I don't mean that. It's just... The arcane mother holds up a hand to stall him. It's all right. Maybe the fault is in the focus. When I was a little girl, I made jewelry. I loved it, and it brought me all the joy in the world. And one day, while I was crafting a ring of pure sapphire, donated by the people of Nakokeboros, the arcane sang through me. She holds up one of the rings on her finger, and a quiet energy hums out of them, making sparks appear in the air. The arcane mother says, Perhaps it is the focus that must come from the heart. Something you love. I cannot tell you what it is. You must find it yourself. We're going to cut to a set of docks. We see men dressed like pirates leaning against the side of doorways and crouched on the ground. Several are curled up on the floor. They all vomit and moan. Despite this, they all carry weapons weakly and look forward as if they're on guard. A slow feeling of desperation washes over them, and it's visible in their faces. The camera moves by them until we see a tall man sitting in a chair. He has the dark skin of a Noxian and wears golden red clothes with a long, billowing cloak torn at the end. A large golden cloak facet shaped like a scorpion holds the look together. He wears a light mixture of armor and cloth, sort of like a weird pirate Noxian hybrid. Noxian warriors, for those who aren't familiar with the League, look like this. I'd say his armor looks like a mix of this and the sort of Bilgewater look. Just so we can instantly tell by looking at him, this guy is a Noxian pirate. Another smaller man sits next to him, wearing another smaller scorpion clasp. Both men have pale faces and are visibly sick. The smaller man, his first mate, says, It could be an illness. The taller man, the captain, the sea scorpion, says, An illness? Getting to all of us this quickly? No, this is no illness. Treachery. Poison. The first mate says, But who would dare and how? The sea scorpion says, I don't know. The water, maybe. But there is an attack coming. I'm sure of it. As if on cue, we hear the sounds of shouts echoing in the distance. Another group of pirates raid into the camp, killing the sick men and fighting them weakly. It's a slaughter. They move through in a little action scene, but it's mostly like they're just executing these, sick men on the ground. Some vomit as they die. I want it to be kind of actually disgusting and a little brutal. We'll probably go like a little tame on it, but you know what I mean. The sea scorpion manages to kill one of the pirates who walks up, splitting him in half with a massive sword. And out of the crowd, another man slowly approaches the sea scorpion. We recognize him as Gangplank if you've played the game, specifically the younger version of Gangplank. That's one of the skin lines, or this is skin inspired. I don't know if it's the canonical younger Gangplank, but it's young Gangplank, who will be one of our main characters mentioned in the first episode. He slowly approaches the sea scorpion as the sea scorpion struggles to his feet after killing the previous man, bloody sword in hand. The sea scorpion narrows his eyes and looks surprised. You! Gangplank! Gangplank smiles. You think I didn't know you were stealing from me? The slaughter docks are mine! You broke the codes! The sea snake snarls. You think I'm afraid of you? You're an upstart, a nobody, just a green boy waiting to die. I've caught fish stronger than you. You don't stand a chance in this fight. Walk away. Gangplank laughs. Hey, you're probably right. There's no replacement for experience, except perhaps for poison. The sea scorpion paler and angrier. Relax, Scorpion.
Century.
It's not fatal. Just enough to weaken you. The Scorpion says, You coward! They'll mock you for this. Poison is the weapon of a woman. Gangplank says, Hey, they'll never know. All they'll know is that I killed you in combat with my own blade. No one will be left alive to tell them the truth. The sea snake snarls. He charges at Gangplank with his sword in hand. He seems to effortlessly raise the giant sword. Gangplank smiles and raises his pistol. He fires off a shot, and it tinks off the armor in the middle of the Scorpion's chest, swirling to the side. We can see the bullet sort of, I guess you call it like a ricochet, where it cuts to the side and lands in the chest of his first mate, killing him. Sort of a fun little set piece bit. Gangplank looks surprised, and the sea snake smiles. He goes to swing the sword, and Gangplank dodges to the side quickly. However, the sword catches the pistol in Gangplank's hand, knocking it free and splitting it in half. It lands on the floor in 2 pieces, and the Sea Scorpion stomps it with a metal boot as he steps forward to attack Gangplank again. Gangplank snarls and dives back into a roll, pulling the sword from his own belt as he comes back up. It's a much smaller, curved, classic pirate-looking sword, like a scimitar almost. And they begin to duel in earnest. They fight back and forth as we see Gangplank's men overtake the Sea Scorpions in the background. It's a slaughter. We'll say it's a heated battle back and forth. I don't usually describe battle scenes in these shows very much, but it's a dead heat. Even Poison, the Sea Scorpion, is relentless and effective. But Gangplank plays dirty. He pulls a bit of sand from his pocket, literal pocket sand, and throws it in the eyes of the Sea Scorpion. The Sea Scorpion stumbles back, shocked, and Gangplank stabs the Sea Scorpion in the gut, pinning him down to the ground with his sword. But also, it's not a fatal wound. The Sea Scorpion is alive. The battle winds down as the last of the Sea Scorpion's men are killed in the background. Gangplank raises his bloody sword and cheers, and his men join him. He gestures to the Sea Scorpion's bleeding body with his sword. What do you think, lads? Should I carve him for encroaching on my territory? The Sea Scorpion trembles in front of him, and the men cheer their approval. Gangplank smiles and grabs the Sea Scorpion by the hair, dragging him into a room as he pulls a knife from his belt. Once the door is shut, we hear screams from inside. They sound desperate, horrible, and eventually turn to guttural cries filled with the sweat sound of blood. We're going to cut to a burned village on a beach. We see a burned village sitting on a beach as the sun sets over it, casting scarlet and blue. We vaguely recognize the village as the one from the opening scene, though it's much more run down and overgrown now. The jungle sort of taking the tropical village back. We see a tall woman with bronze skin and long braided hair walking down the beach. It's Alawi, another character from the game. She looks like this as an adult. I don't know what she looks like as a kid. You'd have a designer design that design. She stops in front of a ruined house that's half burnt and collapsing. There we see Gangplank sitting on its stairs and staring at the sunset. Alawi says, I thought I might find you here. It's always this spot. Gangplank continues to look out over the distant ocean. The burned ruins of the village are engulfed in the light of the sunset. She smiles and says, I've never asked. I know you don't like to talk about the past, but what was this place to you? Gangplank says, It was my home once. I grew up in this house, and this was where she died. Right there. He gestures to the burned floor. A faint red stain is still visible as like a black spot on this floor. Gangplank says, Come in here reminds me. Alawi says, I see. I am sorry. Gangplank says, I killed the Sea Scorpion today. The 6 lords have become only 5. Alawi says, I heard. That is why I came to find you. They whisper of all the men you killed today, of how you stepped into the Scorpion's own land and took his head in vengeance for a wrong. They all say Gangplank the Pirate Lord tortured him to death. It was quite bloody, apparently. Gangplank says, Rumors and nothing more. I killed him quickly. I had my men spread the story around. I did have to brutalize a few, but it was for the greater good. Alawi shakes her head. I do not understand why you bother with this Gangplank farce of yours. Why not show them your true colors? Show them Thomas Darren. Gangplank smiles. Gangplank the Pirate Lord is more frightening and terrible than Thomas could ever be. If I am to be the River King as I seek, they will need to fear me. No one without a name dreaded could hold the title long. Alawi says, I find it funny that they see this gangplank in you at all. They call you frightening, and I suppose you are to them. But I do not see gangplank when I look in you. I see Thomas only. The man who wants to create a Bilgewater where innocence can be safe. A kind man forced to be hard by the world around him. She rests her head on his shoulder. That is the man I see. The man who would be the Reaver King. Gangplank says, I am getting closer. If I take out one or two more of the other lords, the rest will fall in line. I will be the Reaver King, and there will never be another monster like Artel the Shark in Bilgewater again. Alawi takes his hand and looks at him with genuine fondness. You are beloved of Boros. You seek a single goal with absolute motivation. She will guide your hands. Gangplank says, I don't follow your god. Though you have made certain convincing arguments. He gives her a mischievous smile, and she blushes briefly and looks away. Alawi says, just because you do not follow her does not mean she does not follow you. You are a man who seeks to build a world in which another mother is not pointlessly butchered by a pirate lord. You are just a man, and one with a clear goal in your heart. Her will flows with you like the currents of the sea, pushing you along even if you do not see it. Gangplank smiles. Maybe so. I would have you by my side when the work is complete. A Reaver Queen. Perhaps that is what your god wishes. Alawi says, perhaps one day. She did bring me to you. But now my place is with Boros. Though I am not needed at the temple until the morning. Gangplank smiles and says, I can think of a few good ways to spend the time. We're going to cut to... we're going to see the barges of the river people that we saw earlier with Tobias pulling to the docks of Bilgewater.
Professional editor, by the way.
People begin to kind of pour off the barges, but we focus on two people. It's Tobias and the girl who's with them, who's named Annabeth. Annabeth says, you know they're going to figure out how you're doing it eventually. Tobias looks at her and says, doing what? Annabeth says, the cards. How you keep winning. They're going to figure it out. Tobias says, I'm not doing anything. I don't know how many times I've told you. The girl says, and I don't know how many times I've told you, Tobias, that I don't believe you. You're too good. You almost never lose. Tobias says, I don't know. It just feels like... It feels like sometimes I know how the cards will fall. Instinct, I guess. I'm just good at it. The girl takes his hand and squeezes it. She says, one day, I'll get you to tell me the secret. Does it have to do with your lessons with the Arcane Mother? Tobias says, no comment. The girl gasps. Annabeth says, it's the Arcane, isn't it? I knew it. I knew you were doing something. Tobias says, it's not the... Just give it a rest, Annabeth. I'm just good with the cards. Is that so hard to believe? She nods her head. Yes. Oh, it really is. He takes up a post by the corner of an alley. He opens up his bag and begins to dangle out colorful talismans from his arms. He holds out a collection plate and then begins to cry out, talismans against ill fortune, only a silver serpent each. Protect yourself from the evil. The girl moves past him and begins to huck the same wares down the way. We're going to see a time lapse of him trying to sell the talismans to no luck. Only a single silver coin appears in his collection plate during the montage. A man with a large beard and scowl approaches. He says, river rats, we don't want you here, bunch of leeches. Tobias looks up at him confused. We aren't trying to cause any trouble. The man says, you think I buy that shit? Go steal from someone else, rat. He spits on Tobias's face. Tobias quickly flees, wiping it off his face. We can see tears begin to fall from his eyes. He takes his single silver serpent with him. It's not enough. He looks down awkwardly at it and lets out an angry growl. We're going to cut to Gangplank's house. We see Alawi standing up from Gangplank's bed. Gangplank sits up and watches her as she ties her hair up and gets dressed. Gangplank says, where does Boros need you today? Alawi says, I am to speak with the river people. They have arrived, and I hope to spread the word of Nakoke-Boros to them. Gangplank sighs. Don't remind me they're back. Alawi says, you do not care for the river people? Gangplank says, they are trouble. They cause disruption everywhere they go, and they live by such foolish codes. Plus they're cheats, even if they try to hide it. Things always seem to disappear around the river folk. They're always up to no good. Alawi says, that is all just rumors. They have a goal, and they are willing to do anything to follow it. Though it is different from yours, their quest for true pacifism is worthy. They are beloved of Nakoke-Boros. Gangplank says, my mother was of the path, and so was much of my village. We followed the path of pacifism just like the river folk. And when someone arrived who wasn't a pacifist, they could do nothing about it. Artel killed them all. It is a belief that only ends one way. The river folk are just too blind to see it yet. You should pray someone less cruel than Artel shows them the truth first, or they will cease to exist in time. Alawi says, the river people have existed for as long as anyone can remember. I do not think they are in danger anytime soon. She notices the destroyed pistol sitting on his table, split in half and crushed. Alawi says, what did that? Gangplank says, that toy sunk bastard the sea scorpion broke it in our duel. Now I have to find another one. It was of good make too. It'll be hard to find another replacement. Alawi smiles. I can help with that. There's a place in Bilgewater. Fortune's Firearms. I've been told she makes the best. Tell her I sent you. We're old acquaintances. Gangplank says, Fortune's Firearms. Never heard of it. Alawi says, by her design, I suppose. Her prices are steep, and she tries to hide herself, but the quality is undeniable. Trust me, love. She's the best in the city. Maybe the world. Gangplank nods. Fortune's Firearms. I'll give it a try. We're going to cut to the river boats. Tobias enters a tent on the top of one of the floating barges. We see a woman inside with hair pulled back in a bun. This is his mother. She's cutting a set of cloth to make a costume or clothes, sewing basically. She sits at the table doing that. Tobias tosses a single coin in front of her. It rolls to a stop. 1, he says. All day and I only got a single silver serpent. It's not enough to survive on. His mother sighs and looks up at him. She smiles. Fortune will come to us in time, as it has for all those who walk the path. The river brings us wealth. Tobias says, a man spat on me today, mother. Said I wasn't wanted here. We can't afford to eat like this. We can't feed the people like this. Tobias's mother says, wealth will come. She says it like a mantra or a prayer. Tobias says, but it hasn't. Maybe we need to take things into our own hand. I've been thinking. I could play cards, mother. I could turn this silver serpent into 10, maybe 20. I'm good, really good. I could feed all of us. His mother slams a fist down and looks up at him shocked. No, never that. Gambling is not the way of the path. It is taking money from others who do not wish to lose it. The money will come willingly, and it must. Otherwise we would stray from the path. We'll do another collection tomorrow. The people will help us. Tobias says, the people don't like us. Why would they give us money? His mother says, they remember in the end. They always have. You're too young, but I remember feeling as you do. The money always comes when we need it. You'll see. The path shows us the way. Tomorrow, the money will come. Tobias says, if you say so. We cut to Tobias's room. We see him sitting angrily on his bed. Stewing. He pushes his hands through his hair and growls in frustration. His mom just doesn't see. She's blinded by her faith, but they're going to starve if he doesn't do something. But what can he do? He begins to flip through the cards. He begins to flip cards in his hand, doing various tricks and shuffling them, almost effortlessly. Finally, in his anger, he throws the cards at the wall, one by one, in fury. Just as the last card leaves his hand, we briefly see it flash red. It flies into a pillow, and the pillow explodes in a puff of smoke. Tobias jumps back. We can see a surprised look in his eyes. He looks at the pillow, then back down at the cards at the ground. His smile grows across his face. He touched the arcane. We're going to cut to Fortune Firearms. We see a woman with long red hair, Abigail Fortune, working on a pistol. She carefully engraves the metal barrel with colorful twisting designs while using some sort of eyepiece to look closely at it. We hear a bell ring on her door, and she looks up. We see Gangplank enter the room. Abigail's brow furrows. Gangplank moves past displays of guns, studying them as Abigail watches. Eventually, Gangplank works his way over to Abigail and gives her a friendly smile. In the distance off from the staircase, like hiding underneath the staircase, we can see a little girl with red hair peering out from behind the stairs, watching the scene, hidden. Gangplank says, "A woman by the name of Alawi sent me to you. Says you're the best at what you do. And that you're an old friend." Abigail Fortune says, "So I've been told. And I've known Alawi since I was a girl." Abigail looks up at Gangplank dubiously. "But I have to ask, how do you know her? What I mean is, I know who you are. Gangplank the Pirate Lord. You've ruled the slaughter docks for a couple years now. I don't know how Alawi came to know you, or would have." Gangplank says, "We are close. She sees something in me that most don't. If you don't believe me, you can ask her yourself. She's with the river people, I believe." Abigail grimaces, then quickly shakes her head. "All right, I'll believe you. I just had to be sure. How can I help you?" Gangplank says, "I'd like a pair of dueling pistols." Abigail says, "I can show you my selection here." She gestures to a case filled with pistols. Gangplank walks over to her and sets down a pouch filled with gold-cracking coins. It clinks to the table. We see Sarah watching from her place beneath the stairs. The little girl's eyes grow wide. Gangplank says, "I want a custom pair. Alawi told me you are on a high price for your masterwork. That's more money than I've ever spent, and I expect your highest quality work." Abigail's eyes grow wide as she looks at the coins. "How much is this?" Gangplank says, 25 golden krakens." Abigail Fortune says, "A small fortune." Gangplank says, "And money well spent if you're as good as Alawi says." Abigail laughs slightly. "I'm probably better. You'll have your dueling pistols." Gangplank smiles, showing off his golden teeth. "Good. How soon can you have them done?" Abigail says, "For 25 krakens, 6 days. 8 if you want them ornamented." Gangplank shakes his head. "I don't care about ornamentation. Just make them deadly. My men and I are setting sail tonight. I'll be back in a week. I'll come for them then." Gangplank turns and leaves the store. We follow the little girl as she runs to the back of the store. There we see a balcony looking out over the ocean. The girl grabs a little rope and slides down it 2 stories. She hangs out over the ocean and uses a swinging motion to land on the docks beneath their building. She hides behind a box and watches as Gangplank leaves the area with wide eyes. She murmurs something to herself. Then we see another young boy slide up next to her. He looks over her shoulder. "What you looking at, Sarah?" The girl jumps out of her skin and glares at him. "You scared me, Raffin." "I'm looking at that guy. He came into our store. Gangplank. He's one of the pirate lords." Raffin says, "A real pirate lord? He's the one who killed the sea scorpion yesterday. Wow." Sarah says, "Yeah, someday I want to be a pirate like him. I could go sail the ocean on adventures like the one Pike always tells us." The boy says, "You think I could go too?" Sarah says, "Why not? After all, I'm going to have the largest ship on the ocean. Plenty of room." The boy laughs as he imagines it. "They'll fear us from here to Piltover." Sarah says, "The dreaded pirate Fortune and her first mate. That'll be us." We're going to cut back from them to the firearm shop. We see Abigail leaning over the table where Gangplank left her. His money sits there on the counter. A coin is at the very top, a golden kraken with a smear of blood on it. She sees it and her eyes go wide. She comes to whisper herself, "Pirate Lord, a deadly pistol." She looks up, and we see phantoms lingering in the room around her. They're all riddled with bullet wounds. Some have holes in their heads, others in their hearts. They all stare at her with dead, empty eyes, judging. She shudders and looks away. "It's not my fault. I just make the weapons. I don't kill anyone. She looks up, and the spirits are gone. She sets her jaw, and we can see her get the tools to begin work on a pistol. We're going to cut back to see Tobias on his corner alley. Talismans! Protect yourself from evil. Handmade by the river people. Finest craftsmanship alive. The finest craftsman alive. People ignore him, moving past him in large crowds. Tobias sighs and moves his head back to stare up at the sky. We can see a shot of an empty collection plate. The clouds slowly pass by. Suddenly, we hear the sound of change hitting a bowl. Tobias looks down in surprise, and we see a single golden kraken coin in his offering bowl. He looks up, and we see Tom Kinch. Tom Kinch is a giant walking
Love this
catfish.
guy.
I couldn't describe this guy if I tried, so he looks like this. That's Tom Kinch. Tom smiles a toothy grin. Fate says, "This is a golden kraken." Tom Kinch says, "It is. I'm fond of you river folk. Your colorful boats and crafts delight me. I think it's about time I paid for my share of the joy." Fate says, "Here, have a talisman. Have 5. It'll protect you from evil." Tom Kinch almost recoils back. "Oh, no, I couldn't take that. Think of this as a donation." Fate says, "Thank you, sir. We were worried. We wouldn't have enough for food, but this will buy us time. Bless you." He bows to Tom. Tom says, "If you don't mind me saying, I like to watch the river people, and, I happened to catch a glimpse of you playing cards with the others earlier. You were playing to win." Tobias says, You saw that? How? I mean, I know I'm not supposed to, but please don't tell the others." Tom King says, "Tell the others? I won't tell the others. To tell you the truth, I was impressed. You were good with them. A natural talent, perhaps. Maybe something more. A touch of the arcane. I've seen it before. Hell, I have a touch of it myself." He winks and giggles to himself. "I always was good with the cards. And that's how I made my fortune." Fate perks up. Tobias perks up. "You think I'm good?" Tompkins says, "Better than most players here, that's for sure. You'll want some advice? I'll give it to you for free. Gangplank's men will be in town 6 nights from now. They'll be all flushed up with cash and more than a little drunk after they finish seizing the Sea Scorpion's territory. Take that coin of yours and go play the cards. With what you could earn, your people won't have to worry about food ever again." Tobias says, "It wouldn't be right. The past says it's wrong to take money from those who don't want to give it willingly." Tompkins says, "Oh, but you see, boy, these men are gangplanks. That money ain't theirs to spend. They take it from others with violence. If you were to take it from them, it would be for the good of the river folk. I think the path would say that's a positive." Tobias narrows his eyes. "Even if that were true, my mother wouldn't accept me coming with that kind of coin, sir. She'd know." Tom Kent shakes his head. "A valid concern. But you tell her whatever you win was a donation. Tell her old Tom Kinch gave it to you. If she wants to come looking for me, she could easily find me. Anybody can. I'll tell her I gave you the money. The path delivered and brought you a fortune." Tobias says, "I don't know, Tom Kinch cuts him off. "Trust me, son, I have an eye for talent, and you've got it. You're a gambling man at heart. You know that your mother is misguided in her beliefs. You know it deep down there." He gestures to Tobias's heart. "They aren't gonna survive much longer if things don't change. They're gonna starve. Those little kids, your mother, ribs showing out deep, starving to death. You have to do this for your people." Tobias nods his head. "All right, just a few hands. Enough coins to feed us for the month. That'll be enough." Tom Kinch smiles. "Just a few hands is all." Tobias nods. He picks the coins up in his finger and then grimaces. Tom Kinch says, "Careful, boy. You cut your finger." Tobias looks down and notices blood dribbling from his thumb. It coats the coin in scarlet blood. He says, "Oh, I must have snagged it on the coin." Tom Kent shakes his head. "Careful indeed. I have to go now. Good luck, son." A pedestrian walking past blocks Tom for just a second, and when the man passes, he's gone. Tobias looks surprised, but doesn't think much of it. He's too distracted by the golden kraken in his hand. He smiles. He squeezes his hand shut and stands. He moves away from where his people beg and barter on the street, a look of determination on his face. It's clear. He's strayed from the path. And that's the end of episode 1, which I forgot to say was entitled The Path. The next episode is episode 2, which will be coming out very soon, next week or the week after that.
That's not true. Yeah. 5 months later, we're writing episode 2 right now. All right. Let's pull up my script here. All right. We're actually going to turn off our two fucking grammar checkers. All right. There we go. Those grammar checkers irritate me while I'm trying to write. All right. So episode 2. Let's start this right now. Actually, I may... Where's episode 2 start? Right here. Episode 2, The Gambling Man. So I'm not quite sure how we want to go about this. I tend to write out of order. It's kind of hard for me to explain my process. I just sort of bounce around to whatever I'm feeling, and then I sort of interconnect, because I know where the plot is going, and I have it all in my head, so I'll just work it out. I think I already wrote the first scene. I did. This is Tom Kinch making a deal with Abigail Fortune, as was implied in that script. So there's 4 scenes that happen in here. I'll say them vaguely. Scene number 1, that are like I'm gonna try to write today. Scene number 1, Tobias plays cards with Gangplank's men. Pretty straightforward. This scene is long, and it makes up the majority of this episode. Scene, or I'll just call it sequence, I guess, 2. Little Sarah Fortune goes to the bar to hear stories from Pike. Sequence number 3, Abigail Fortune is haunted by her choices and wonders if she's being haunted by the ghosts of people killed by her weapons. Boom. So these are our 3 sequences, are the ones I'm willing to write on stream, so they won't spoil things. Now there's some additional scenes. Additionally, we have Gangplank seeks, I'll say this vaguely, revenge he learns the truth. And as part of this one, to hear stories from Pike, we hear Pike's story of Nautilus. Is that how you spell that? Oh well. Pike tells the story of his encounter with Nautilus. This sets up Nautilus. This is also a really cool scene. So, yeah, so the scenes we're going to try to write today. These we're not going to write today. And I might do 2 episodes of this, to be honest. I don't know how long I'm going to go. I just have to watch that first episode literally to remind myself, and I figured it would be good to do it on stream so everyone could be up to date. And I already started writing parts of the Nautilus scene. It's right here. So we'll go ahead and label this. This is scene 2. We'll call it that, sequence 2. Scene 1 actually runs through all throughout the episode, so I'll write it in order and then I'll divide it up and scoot it throughout the script where it needs to go. So we'll break it down even into smaller scenes. So part 1, Toby finds the pirates after going to the bad part of town. Part 2, Toby plays cards and starts to win. And part 3, Toby, how do I phrase this? How do I say this? Toby gets attacked by angry pirates and is forced to flee. And an exciting chase. What we got? Let's check. Scene. Oh, I forgot a scene. Hold on. Alawi learns the truth. As part of Alawi learns the truth, we've got 2 other things that happen. Alawi speaks to her god. This is a cool scene. And is given a warning. Visits the river people. Okay, so these are our 3 scenes. Obviously, all of these except for this middle one here and this one were set up. So we already know she's going to visit the river people. That was set up last episode. Gangplank isn't in this one much until the end. His subplot is pretty straightforward. Gangplank, I do have one other scene I want to add. I don't know exactly how this one's going to go. Makes political moves towards becoming the Reaver King. I think I want a scene, and I don't know exactly how this will go. I'll kind of improv this one, where Gangplank approaches some people to basically begin to make political moves towards him, taking control of Bilgewater. This sort of wants to resurrect this mythical or ancient title of the Reaver King that hasn't existed for some time. Yeah, so we'll see maybe parts of that. Maybe he gets bad news and the person thinks it can't be done. There we go. Okay, so this episode's already pretty jam-packed. This is going to be one scene. As she makes Gangplank's pistol. She questions if she still follows the path. Okay. So the path is going to be a through line, this idea of pacifism versus violence. Pretty evidently being set up as a theme. Abigail Fortune is based on Lady Winchester. For those who don't know, Lady Winchester, her husband invented Winchester firearms, which you've probably heard of. They're fairly famous. She became convinced that ghouls were haunting her, basically. And she was so convinced that she was being spooked that she built this bizarre mansion. I'm obsessed with this thing. I think it's one of my dream places to visit one day. I don't know why I find it so fascinating. It's in California somewhere, but I've always wanted to visit it. It's built with like pit traps and halls that go nowhere, and it's like the House of Mysteries a little bit. But she built it thinking it would confuse ghosts and keep them from finding her. The ghosts of people killed by her firearms. So I obviously was inspired by her to make the version of Abigail in the script. So, all right. So I think we can break this down a couple of ways. I think the easiest way. I think we start with Toby. We'll do Toby part 1 first. And then we will do... Yeah, okay. Hold on, actually. Toby part 1. Then we'll do... I actually might do Sarah Fortune and Pike off screen because I have to reference a League of Legends video. Pike tells the story, or... it's not Pike. Someone else tells the story I'm going to use for this in an official League of Legends video, which I can probably pull up. Nautilus story of Legends. Yeah, this is the one. So they already wrote this for me. It's very convenient.
Pulled down beneath the jagged straits. And that was when the Titan hit us. Without...
I'll probably like literally rip this, edit it down a little bit, and use much of it. I think this is going to be ideal as far as using it. So I'll probably write that off screen just so you don't have to watch me boringly translate basically what that says and then write it down and all of that, because it's that will be underwhelming and lame for sure. So yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll write Abigail Fortune, and I'll have to leave at some point, and then we'll just pick up another day and finish the rest that I don't finish offline. We'll finish Toby 1 for sure, and then we'll do Abigail Fortune scene, and maybe we'll try to do Alawi and Gangplank. The Gangplank one will be hard. I'll have to stop and think about it a lot while I'm writing it, so it might be a little boring because I don't know exactly how it's going to go. I need to make up a politician. I need to make up some kind of zany character. I like a lot of the people in Bilgewater are like half fish. They're like half fish people. So maybe he is a fellow pirate lord. Let's do a fellow pirate lord. One who's maybe mildly aligned with Gangplank. We'll call it friends. He's a half. Let's see, what are the? Oh man, what do we make him? Actually, let's make him a human, covered in scars, run across his face. He used to be a flesh diver. But after surviving a tangle, became pirate lord. Okay, boom. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty straightforward. So that's the motivation for this random guy. We'll give him a name. Anyone has a name suggestion in chat, hit me. I don't think the other pirate lords are really mentioned in the lore, so none of these characters already have names. Maybe you can just call him Scar for now. So Scar will say something like, Gangplank. Or did you do first? Started this life. Yeah. So the Gangplank has supported you since you first started that life of yours. Me, you would have died. Boy, something like that. Gameplank's gonna say, oh. Scar is gonna nod. So the key is to kind of make the report here. So I think what I'm going for here, and I'm kind of coming up with this as I go, because I don't exactly know. I just know what information I want to get to the audience to explain how I think through these things. I want to get to the audience that two things. One, this Reaver King role that Gangplank is trying to do, that's mentioned in part 1, it's really dangerous and it's not really likely to happen. Even a close friend of Gangplank's, this sort of father mentor Scar, as I'm calling him now, I'll probably give him a better name, is thinking it's really impossible, even though they have a connection. He tells him it's just not going to happen, that the others won't bend the knee, and Gangplank explains that he thinks they will if he can scare them enough, basically. And Scar laughs and says that he's not that kind of guy, and that he doesn't think Gangplank has it in him to do what needs to be done, and yada yada yada, a couple of other things. We've been thinking back and forth about it. And Scar says, I don't think any of the other pirates will support giving up their power, because I know I don't want to. Something along those lines. And I think then, like, we get a couple of bits of information to the audience that way, which is sort of the goal with any dialogue scene. You're always trying to explain something, be it character motivations, character actions, or the plot. You always want to have, if your line of dialogue doesn't do any one of those things, you're not doing it right. Or it can be a joke, I guess. But a joke often tells you something about the character. In my opinion, that tends to be the case. So, let's run with this. Yeah, let's run with that. So, Reaver King business is madness. Madness. That was right. Okay. It's Reaver King nonsense is madness. All right, it's very good. Yeah, this Reaver King nonsense is madness. Cannot. Yeah. Asian Bayou. Last. Good. 70. Last it was such and such pirate lord nearly 670 years ago. It can't be done now, boys. What the lords I said. Game point. I think you're wrong. Pirate lords are fat. Brightness? Oh shit, my spelling is so bad. This is the part of this I hadn't thought about. Right? Yeah, brightness. Okay, let's see. I think you're wrong. I see it clearly. Insert name here. The pirate lords are fat and spoiled. Besides the sea scorpion, not a one of them frightens me a lick. And he's dead and buried. Buried. So. Shouldn't underestimate. There we go. Shouldn't underestimate them. All right, y'all, I'm gonna run to the restroom really fast and then go grab something, and I'll be right back. Yeah, I'll be super quick. Okay. Hi, back. I'm Bjorn. Okay. Okay, where was I? Blurred twice. Oh no. Oh. Yes. Okay, so maybe we should say Gangplank in the yards. Yeah, that's awesome. And they aren't scared enough. Here we Yeah, okay. Just remember, like, you scrapping all that. There. There. I don't have them scared enough yet. I just had a really good idea, but I'm not going to share it yet. Um, okay, this is a good 2-page scene. I think it's kind of so. And it, I won't write it. Stop. Oops. Here. There we go. Okay. And there was a time when even a shark boasted waves. Over again. How many boys like you still run, walk in city streets? Be trying to fill shoes. Even cross. Even if they have to cross you. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Fear, unnamed guy who I was calling Scar here. Thinking about calling him the Scarred Ghost. I'm gonna write that down here. Scarred Ghost. So I don't forget him. Forget what I was thinking of calling him. Scorpion shivers. Even if they have to cross you. Careful. It'll end up. Yes. Like. Done. Scene. Boom. Cut to. So I know I finished this. There we go. First scene done. That took me 15 minutes probably. It was a pretty easy one. That flowed pretty naturally. But that's sort of my method, right? I pick a scene and I write it from start to finish. And then I'll often just improv these like minor scenes. Like I didn't know what was going to be said there. It just sort of came what was right for the characters, what the characters would say. Um and then my mic is weird. There we go. Sorry about that, y'all. Uh yeah, and then so you just sort of like let it flow naturally. Okay, I can write one scene, one part here. Finish bench. I'm probably gonna have to end this in like 15 minutes. I'm gonna write this quick little scene right here. So we'll have two scenes done. I'll come back sometime later this week if I have the time, or next week if I don't. I should have it this week though. Thinking if I'm missing anything. No, I should have time. So we'll do this scene here with Abigail Fortune. Okay. Her young. Her head. Pistols on the table. Her mom wakes. They ordered them. Hey. Krakens? Yeah, episode 3. So, for those who aren't familiar with Arcane, I know there's several. I just got a message of Discord on. Still there. Okay. Sorry, I was answering the message. Someone asked me if the second channel is gone. And it was, I'm like, no, it should still be there unless something happened to it. I can check. Bjorn does everything else, I think is the name of it. Yeah, it's still here. I just haven't uploaded on it. Yeah, it's my fault. I have history videos almost ready to go up on there. I was making sure it hadn't gotten deleted or something, man. YouTube plays foul with a lot of shit like that sometimes. Especially recently, man. Shit's popped off. Alright. Okay. Pretty sure I have the word Kraken. Oh, there's no C. Okay. Okay, so she should say, Sarah. Never seen one. There. There on the table. Huh. She points. On pitch. Gold. With blood smeared across it. Oh. God. Back. She frowns. She stares. Fish a coin out of the bag. Oh, the Kraken. Pressed into coin. Listen to the Okay. It's shiny. Let's have her say shiny. Shiny 2. Shiny 2. What are you? Racket. Fishes a bronze coin from her pouch. Bill. Hello. Yeah. Drink. This one. She hops. Grabs rope, hangs over into the sea, and slides down. She reaches the dots. Two, down the street, passing Tobias. What's that do? The camera moves to follow. Boom. Okay. I think that's a pretty good stopping point for today. I gotta go get dinner. We'll pick this up again next week, and we'll write the other 2 scenes I said I would write on stream. And you know, if this goes well, I'm making some pretty good progress here. These are TV show episodes, so they're shorter and more consistent. And I can waste time with these sort of trivial things. Like in a movie, right? The reason why I think TV is sometimes superior to a film, you might not have time for this. Like this doesn't really accomplish anything except it sets up Abigail's relationship with her daughter. It sets up, you know, certain concepts like the fact that Abigail isn't sleeping, she's exhausted, she's haunted by this golden coin, which you'll know what it represents if you watch this full episode. I already wrote that scene, so you don't get to see that scene, suckers. But yeah, so this is a little look into my process. It's mostly just me like talking to myself, mumbling and writing. But I'm pretty consistent. I like to write by breaking things down to the scenes. Even if I write them out of order, if I know exactly what's going to happen, I can write the scene in any particular order I want, whenever the passion strikes me. So often you'll see I'll write a scene from the 3rd act, and I'll write a scene from the 2nd act, and then I'll go and write the whole 1st act, and I'll go add another scene to the 3rd act, and I'll add another scene that, especially if I write 2 scenes that connect to each other. Like I'll go write all through Tobias scenes in order, in a row, because it's easier for me that way. So I write my books too. I write them in chunks based on what character is usually on screen. Unless 2 characters intersect, then I alternate, just so I can keep it consistent. I find that more productive. Anyway, thank you all for watching, for those who are still watching, and I'll see you on the next one. This was a lot of fun.